Why do you think Trump has so many die-hard supporters? He definitely struck a nerve with a lot of Americans and their nostalgia. Hell, his main slogan, MAGA, is literally about how America used to be a great country. Alright, I'm going to break from most of the other answers and try to give a cause and effect type of reasoning. Please note, I'm not defending any of these loons. I'm just trying to help people understand how they think. Also, sorry for the format. I'm on mobile now. Trump supporters tend to fall into 5 categories in my opinion. 1. The overlooked group. This group of people is largely the electorate that rarely gets any sort of attention at the federal level. They're most poor, white, and rural. Most politicians don't really see this group as politically useful. Democrats barely try in their areas and usually focus more on minority groups who live in the same region. Or at least that's how they see it. Likewise, Republicans don't have to care because they're always going to win. Trump or someone on his team recognized that this group could be extremely loyal if he appealed to them, and it's worked. He only has a loose grasp on them. But they're along for the ride until literally anyone tries to pull them away. 2. The small government group. These guys are also usually poor and were likely hit hard by deindustrialization. Or at least their parents and grandparents were. The unions were killed by Reagan. Corporations have exploited them for generations. And now these people are wondering how they ended up like this. They blame the government, and the extreme end of this group tends to include a lot of deep state conspiracy theorists. Voting for Trump was a big fat fuck you to the typical politicians and bureaucrats in DC. Most of them don't actually like Trump. They just like the fact that he riles things up. Unfortunately, that extreme wing tends to get influenced by this next group. 3. Paleoconservatives. Most of Trump's followers fall into the above 2 groups. This one, though, is the most famous and die-hard. They are nationalistic, angry, and deeply reactionary. This group has existed in some form since the 1800s with the Redeemers and Nativists of the past. Paleoconservatives want an illiberal democracy at best and dictatorship at worst, with Trump's rhetoric hitting to the heart of their desires. The Proud Boys, Patriot Front, MTG, all of them generally fall into this group. 4. Profiteers. This group is extremely simple. This is pretty much everyone who supports Trump because it benefits them politically or economically. Fossil fuel companies. Mitch McConnell. Pretty anyone who doesn't actually buy Trump's BS, but support it for money, votes, etc. 5. Stubborn Republicans. This group is also pretty simple. These are people that don't actually want Trump as their candidate, but partisanship has convinced them that they need to support him. They do massive leaps in logic, buy whatever conspiracy, accept any lie that helps them sleep at night because even they know Trump is bad for the country. Some people fall into multiple categories. A select few Trump supporters don't fall into any. Either way, as someone who lives near a whole bunch of them and has interacted with many, they usually fall into at least one of these categories. The 1. Consistency. They are willing to hurt the country if they think it benefits them in some way, whether they realize it or not. It's important to recognize that these groups already existed. Trump just brought them under the same umbrella and gave them the green light to go public.